extreme fatigue that is not found to be associated with any underlying medical condition, and it's not only to prevent getting tired or fatigued all the time. I realized the importance of sleep is after. Did you know that the feeling of being exhausted is so common these days that there is an acronym that refers to it known as TAT, which stands for tired all the time. It is normal to feel tired once in a while, but if you feel tired, exhausted, and feel a constant lack of energy all the time, and I mean all the time, then it requires deeper digging into what is the underlying cause. Now, there is a possibility that you visited your doctor and complained about the same. Your doctor recommended some tests which came back all normal, maybe recommended some supplements, and then told you that it is completely fine to feel so. This is something that I've been hearing very frequently from my clients in my integrative coaching practice as well. But I am here to tell you that it is not normal and not okay to feel tired all the time. Hello and welcome back to the Doctor Academy. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm Dr. Sanober, Doctor, fondly known as Mrs. Doctor. I'm a board certified dermatologist practicing integrative and holistic dermatology, and I am your skin and health coach here. We discuss skincare, holistic health, and everything related to lead a healthy and happy life. Today I wanted to address the topic of chronic fatigue because this is something that I have heard almost everyone complain about. It is something that I have personally experienced myself and had my own journey with it. So if you wish to understand what is the underlying cause of feeling tired, exhausted, and fatigued all the time, then this video is just for you. In this video, we are going to discuss what are the 4 most common causes of chronic fatigue, and then I'm also going to discuss another 4 important causes which is generally not discussed, but they are the main underlying factors that are responsible for the tiredness, exhaustion, and chronic fatigue that almost everyone is suffering from these days. So without any further ado, let's begin. Before we discuss the various causes, I want you to actually understand what do we mean when we refer to the term exhaustion or fatigue. Fatigue is defined as the constant feeling of tiredness and exhaustion that does not get relieved by rest or sleep. Now, the symptoms of fatigue can depend varying upon the underlying cause, but these generally include feeling constantly tired even after getting enough sleep, the lack of energy or motivation, trouble concentrating on things, if you have irritability or mood swings, if you have slow reactions and reflexes, and even difficulty with memory and thinking. For the sake of better understanding and discussing this topic, I have divided the most common causes of fatigue into lifestyle factors, physical factors, psychological factors, and the nutritional factors, and then I will move on to the unexplained causes of chronic fatigue. Sometimes the cause of your exhaustion or tiredness can be very obvious. It could be something like too many late nights, spending long hours at work, or even a baby keeping you up at night. And trust me, I know how that feels. In today's world where we're 24/7 trying to be always on and trying to cram up a lot into our daily lives, it is possible that we tend to move towards unhealthy lifestyle practices which can contribute to chronic fatigue. These include not getting enough sleep, eating too little or not much in an attempt to lose weight. Even eating too much or at the wrong time can lead to digestive overload. Too little physical activity or even too much of physical activity which is not allowing your body to rest and repair. The use of over-the-counter medicines to treat cough or allergies tend to have a sedative effect, and that is why you might end up feeling groggy and tired all the time when you're using them on a continuous basis. The use of alcohol, drugs, smoking, passive smoking, and even after you quit smoking is when you can have this constant feeling of tiredness, because nicotine that is present has this artificial sense of dilating our coronaries that leads to greater blood supply and gives that relaxed feeling that people tend to like when they smoke, but they don't realize that this is not sustainable over the long run, and that is what leads to a lot of problems. But when they quit smoking, they don't get that relaxed feeling that they are used to because of the dilatation of the blood vessels, and then they end up feeling tired because the body is not getting that much amount of oxygen and blood supply that it was used to. This does not mean that you do not quit smoking. I think we should just ban all these products that are being available, but that is a topic for another day. So by now you must have understood that the lifestyle factors that are contributing to fatigue are non-negotiable changes that you really have to work on, and it's not only to prevent getting tired or fatigued all the time, but it is for your overall good health as well. Now let's discuss certain health conditions that can leave you feeling tired or exhausted. These include iron deficiency anemia, an underactive thyroid gland, that is hypothyroidism. I want you to remember that the thyroid hormone is the master hormone. It actually influences a lot of our hormones in the body as well. So disruption of the normal functioning of our thyroid gland is going to affect our energy metabolism and all the other processes that are taking place in the body. Another important cause is inflamed sinuses, which can interfere with your rest and sleep as well, or sleep apnea, which is a serious sleep disorder in which the breathing repeatedly stops and starts. So if you snore loudly and feel tired even after a full night's sleep, you might have sleep apnea and you must get evaluated. Other very common and important causes of tiredness that you should take into consideration is pregnancy, particularly in the first 12 weeks, then being overweight or obese because your body has to work harder to do the everyday activities, even being underweight because poor muscle strength can tire you more easily. Then if you're on cancer treatments like radiotherapy, chemotherapy, that itself is taking such a heavy toll on your body. So that is going to make you feel exhausted and tired. Side effects of certain medications and herbal remedies. So when you're taking something, you should be aware about what it is it going to do, how is it acting on your body, and what are the possible implications or side effects of it. Now let's discuss the psychological causes of fatigue. I personally feel this is often overlooked, but more often than not, you will see that there is always an underlying psychological state that is contributing to the tiredness and fatigue that you're experiencing in the long run. These include stress, emotional shock, depression, and anxiety. As easy as it is for me or anyone else to say that stress less, I think it is inevitable in today's day and age. The strains of daily life can worry most of us at some point, but we need to identify if this mental anxiety related to a particular task or person is the cause of our body's ability to cope with everyday stressors. I want you to remember that even positive events like getting married or shifting houses, these are also stressful events. So during that time, it is possible that your body is not able to cope up. So you need to give that extra boost attention to yourself to make sure that your body is taken care of. Even the loss of a loved one or a relationship breakup can make you feel tired and exhausted. Or if you're feeling sad, low, and lacking energy, and waking up feeling tired all the time, then you may have depression. On the other hand, if you are having constant uncontrollable feelings of anxiety, you may have something that is known as generalized anxiety disorder. Apart from feeling worried and irritable, people with generalized anxiety disorder often feel tired all the time as well. So if you're experiencing any of these symptoms that we discussed, please discuss this with your doctor. It is not normal and there is a lot of help available to combat and overcome these. But in general, I want you to find a way to de-stress and calm your mind. This might include taking some time out for yourself, going out for a walk, listening to music, meditating. See what works best for you. One of the biggest stress busters that I find works super is talking it out. There is nothing better than having someone hear your anxieties and deepest worries. I'm sure there is this one person in your life with whom you can be vulnerable, speak your heart out, and have that open chat about anything and everything. Man is a social animal and actually thrives on relations. Trust me, getting it out of your system and having a companion to share it with is one of the finest ways of de-stressing. This will reduce the release of cortisol, the stress hormone, and will promote the feeling of happiness and abundance. Now let's come to certain nutritional deficiencies that can lead to chronic fatigue. This is perhaps the most common cause that is assumed to cause fatigue. And I say assumed because I know this is what is most commonly discussed. Having an overall balanced diet is always the best thing. But there are certain nutrients that I want you to pay attention to. Vitamin B12 and folate play a very important role in energy production. Both these nutrients are needed to produce red blood cells, which carry oxygen to all the cells in our body. When your cells are well oxygenated, they can produce energy more efficiently. So if you're deficient in these nutrients, the oxygen carrying capacity of your blood decreases, which in turn will deliver less oxygen to the tissues of our body, and that is going to lead to less energy, feeling of tiredness, exhaustion, fatigue. Another very important nutrient that I'm sure you're aware of that affects the oxygen carrying capacity of your blood is iron. Iron is a component of hemoglobin, which is a protein in our red blood cells that binds to oxygen and carries it to all the cells in the body where it's used to produce energy. So in iron deficiency anemia, the generalized feeling of severe fatigue and exhaustion is very common. My favorite source of getting good amounts of iron, vitamin B12 and folate is red meat. Now, I love my meat, and if you are a regular consumer of organ meats, you know that the benefits of eating it is not only simply limited to iron and vitamin B12, but it is so much more than that. It's such a rich source of coenzyme Q10, proteins, and a lot more other things. But there are some excellent sources of iron for vegans as well. These include dates, blackstrap molasses, and dark leafy greens. Another important nutrient that I want you to focus on to include as part of your diet is vitamin B1. It helps your metabolism convert fuel into energy, and some very good sources include nutritional yeast, nuts, and seafood. Another two important nutrients that we tend to neglect when it comes to energy production but are actually very crucial are magnesium and potassium. Potassium is part of the sodium-potassium ATPase pump. This pump is present on every cell of our body, and it is the very basic way in which our body utilizes ATP, which is the energy currency of the cell. The lack of potassium and magnesium generally begin with the feeling of tiredness, but then it can progress to muscle cramping and even neurological disturbances. I am sure you remember that liveliness and that spark that you feel when you have a bite of your favorite dark chocolate or banana. These together with dark leafy greens are very rich sources of magnesium and potassium, and hence their regular consumption is very beneficial. Another very good way of getting the amount of magnesium that you require is by applying it topically. So that is something that you must try to include in your daily routine as well. Now I want to discuss the often unexplained causes of fatigue. The first one is adrenal fatigue. Our adrenal glands are small glands that are present on top of our kidneys, and they are responsible for producing the different types of steroid hormones in the body. Now, during any form of stress, the adrenal glands produce adrenaline and cortisol. These are the stress hormones which are very important in regulating your stress response, and they are also very important in hormone balance and metabolism. They also affect your blood sugar levels and your body's sensitivity to insulin. So if you are experiencing prolonged or chronic stress, your adrenal glands can get overworked and finally burn out. This will lead to symptoms of fatigue, insulin resistance, which will cause blood sugar imbalances, and even difficulty in coping or recovering from any stressful situation. The other symptoms that are associated with adrenal fatigue include mood swings, sleep disturbances, salt cravings. So some very good remedies are available, but try to include vitamin B1 adaptogens, and get good amount of sleep to prevent your adrenals from getting overworked and burnt out. The second thing that I want to address is a condition known as chronic fatigue syndrome. This is actually a very complex condition that is associated with extreme fatigue that is not found to be associated with any underlying medical condition. So there is a possibility that you will not be able to pinpoint what exactly is causing such extreme tiredness and fatigue, and that is when it is labeled as chronic fatigue syndrome. Now, a lot of research has been done, but still the exact cause has not been understood. There are many hypotheses and theories suggesting that disturbed sleeping patterns, viral infections, dysfunction in the nervous system, hormonal imbalances, or even your genetics can predispose you to this condition. The third thing that I want to address is keto fatigue. If you are considering transitioning to a ketogenic diet, then you should keep in mind that keto fatigue, it is also known as the keto flu, is a very common symptom where you'll feel fatigued and tired during the initial transition phase. This will typically disappear during the first few weeks of transitioning to the ketogenic diet, and it is a very normal response of the body in response to those powerful changes that are taking place in your metabolism. During the early stages of keto, your body shifts to burn fat instead of sugar for energy. Your brain, muscles, and organs should then adapt to utilizing this fat. So going on keto can cause carbohydrate withdrawal, it can lead to temporary electrolyte imbalances and even dehydration. This will also increase the demand for B vitamins in your body. So all these together can trigger that feeling of exhaustion and fatigue. But the good news is this form of keto fatigue will disappear within 1 to 2 weeks once your body gets adapted, but it is better to be aware before you go into this form of particular eating. And the fourth most important cause that I want to address, which you are very well aware of, all of us know about this, but we generally tend to neglect this still, is the lack of sleep. It does not matter what you eat or what you do during the day. You might just have the best practices in place, but if you're not getting enough restful sleep, you are definitely going to feel tired and fatigued in the long run. I realized the importance of sleep is after the birth of my little one. And anyone who's had a newborn or a toddler in the house, you know the amount of sleepless nights you tend to have, and if that continues, which it has for me, then but you need to understand that sleep issues can disrupt the body's ability to regulate energy levels, lead to hormonal imbalances, and a multitude of other things that can lead to tiredness and exhaustion. Lack of good, deep, restful sleep can also lead to decreased immune function, weight gain, depression, all of which can worsen fatigue and reduce your overall well-being. But I'm not just speaking about the number of hours of sleep, but getting good quality sleep is what I want you to focus on. And that is why I want to take a moment to discuss some very good ways to ensure that you get a good night's restful sleep. Number one, try to get good amount of sunlight or expose yourself to infrared light. Infrared or near infrared light has a very soothing effect on the body, and it's the most conducive wavelength to help keep you get relaxed from a good night's sleep. There was a study that was conducted in which red light therapy indicated that it could restore and enhance melatonin production, energy production, and in turn overall well-being, along with restoring hormonal balance and many other factors that come into play. Also make sure your body is producing good amounts of melatonin. It is a very powerful antioxidant, even more powerful than glutathione, and it is the key to having good deep sleep. The third thing is I want you to try incorporating the use of blue light blocking glasses. If you are in front of a screen, I think it is important to invest in a pair. The excessive amount of blue light from artificial sources that we're getting these days, like digital screens, LED lights, fluorescent lights, they all interfere with the ability to fall asleep and get a good night's sleep. So try to get a pair of medical grade blue light blocking glasses, as that is one of the most economical ways to protect your eyes and to ensure that you get good sleep. And the last thing that I want to address when it comes to having good restful sleep is investing in organic ergonomic mattress and beddings. Even if you have a poor bed and pillow, this can lead to some serious sleep issues. And I often see people neglect their bedding, whereas we spend almost 1/3 of our lives asleep. Hence, I highly recommend investing in an organic mattress, pillow, and good bed sheets so that you have restful sleep in a non-toxic environment and you can wake up feeling fresh and healthy. And the last point that I want to discuss when it comes to chronic fatigue is having low stomach acid. Many are unaware or they tend to neglect, but it is a very important factor. We need to have adequate amount of stomach acid so that the food that we eat can get digested properly. Low stomach acid can interfere with your body's ability to digest proteins. It can interfere with the absorption of vitamins and minerals. This in turn can lead to iron and vitamin B12 deficiency. That form of anemia itself can trigger fatigue, tiredness, interfere with energy production. So you're understanding this is a complete vicious cycle that can keep going on. So a good way to ensure that your stomach acids are at optimal levels is having apple cider vinegar or betaine hydrochloride capsules. Now, I generally tend to refrain from the use of apple cider vinegar because it has the ability to dissolve our enamel in the long run. A very good alternative is finding a digestive support. Do your research. I will add the links to the ones that I use and recommend. Alrighty, I hope you found this video useful. I know we discussed a lot of factors that can contribute to fatigue, and trust me, there are so many more. It is just impossible to cover all of them. I tried to identify the most common and important causes of chronic fatigue for you to identify and start working on, but I highly recommend working with your doctor or health coach to help you identify what is the underlying cause. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and please like, share and subscribe if you found this video useful. As always, stay healthy, stay happy, stay blessed. Take care. See you soon. But there are some excellent sources of iron for weak. Another very good way of getting your recommended supply. Another very good way of getting your recommended